Hello everybody, my name is Eric, and today we're going to be talking about a big situation with Visual Studio Code. Now, this is not the first time this has become a story, that there have been insecure extensions published to Visual Studio Code, because as I often like to convey on this channel, malware can be hiding anywhere. So two of these extensions from a single developer have been removed. These were VS Code themes, not even extensions, unlike previous incidents, that are extremely popular, having been downloaded 9 million times. The publisher, Mattia Astorino, aka Equiniso, I can't say that, I'm not going to try, has multiple extensions, totaling over 13 million installs. Now, what happened is some researchers say they discovered malicious code or suspicious code in the extension and reported it to Microsoft, who promptly removed these things and terminated the developer's account. The developer continues to protest this. We'll look at that in a second. Now, the reason they're adding this line is because this developer had done some other questionable things before. This guy had said that he was going to sue people for forking despite it originally being an open source extension, and plenty of other crazy stuff. In fact, popular YouTuber Theo, T3.gg, actually made a fork which was called Material Theme, but I won't sue you. That extension is also free of malware, and because of the way that this developer was acting, making an absolute fool out of himself, a lot of people distrusted the extension. This all seems to have spawned from a malware scanner that was targeting the VS Code extension library. Now, I like this project because this has become an increasing problem, as malware has been hiding in places it didn't used to, and having a scanner that's automatically looking for these would detect problems. So here we have the scanner. Now, they believe this was introduced in an update, either a supply chain attack through a dependency, or the developer's account was compromised. Or I guess the third possibility is the developer could have decided to do it. So they detected malicious activity, high, theme running code, flags theme type extensions that run code on user's computer. Theme should be static JSON files and not execute any code. Unverified publisher. Well, that doesn't hugely matter. Theme running code was the big thing, and malicious activity. Now, what does malicious activity mean here? Well, here we're seeing, okay, yeah, it should be JSON files. And the other big hit was this release notes.json, which, look at this. You've seen me analyze JavaScript malware before. This doesn't look right. The other red flag, and this is one that I've seen before, is if you delete this JS file, the theme works perfectly fine, which may be an indication that this is a malicious bonus. Now, Microsoft say they noticed issues with it and removed it. Now, he appeals, and we'll go look at that in a second. Now, this is an archive link because this first one was actually taken down. Now, backtracking a bit, this extension recently went closed source, and at that point, the code was obfuscated with obfuscator.io, and this release notes file actually seems to be related to sanity.io, which was a release note system. Now, a lot of people are just kind of mocking the developer for his behavior, but that's not really the point. Now, here is the actual statement. Dear Gegtor, nothing harmful was ever shipped with Material Theme. We had an outdated sanity.io dependency used since 2016 to show release notes from Sanity Headless CMS. That was the only issue they found. The dependency has been there since 2016, has passed every check since then, and now it looks compromised, but no one from Microsoft reached us to remove it. They just pulled down everything, causing issues to millions of users and causing a loop in VS Code. It seems like it glitches out. Now, nobody is believing the developer right now. Now, Theo tested his forks just to make sure, and he says he found there was nothing wrong. And then the developer made an alt account to re-upload the same extension to the Visual Studio Marketplace again, which is thoroughly unprofessional and is really not what anyone should do. Now, here is the actual sample, so we can take a look at that, and someone has already said that they've deobfuscated it. Now let's take a look at what's going on here. So, here we have a deobfuscated version, and this is actually, there's the obfuscator config and some TypeScript config. Now, of course, there's always the risk whenever you do any sort of deobfuscation that some content gets lost in the mix. Now, this version doesn't have the release notes, so let's actually take a look. Oh, where's that gone? The real source. We can see this typical obfuscator.io functionality. Now, what seems, as far as I can tell, a lot of people say they have verified, okay, this all looks normal. This doesn't look obfuscated. Okay, build.js. So far, this doesn't look that abnormal. People have been able to verify the obfuscation, but not the malware. So that's the main question. So here is the release notes.js that has gotten all sorts of attention. And the other thing that I believe, yes. Now you see this. This seems to have been what set off the automated alert, was containing get login providers in an incredibly obfuscated file. Now let's see if we can make any progress on this. Now there is a free deobfuscator available here that deobfuscates obfuscator.io JavaScript and produces something quite a bit saner. We can get GPT to explain this code to give us an overview. What I'm specifically, and we'll see if it can catch what this login stuff is about, and see if we can confirm, because the GitHub commenters generally thought that this was a dependency. And it is, in fact, a sanity JavaScript client. Then there is a HTML as well. Now, to a random auditor, this code would look extremely malicious, and as many people said, even if they have the best intentions, I see zero reason that this code should be in this kind of library. They're calling this a headless CMS. No, you pre-render the changelog. You don't include a bunch of random looking JavaScript in here. We can iterate through these URLs and we can see a bunch of sanity.ios. This is in fact just a very messy connection to that. While this is obfuscated, we can get an idea. This is the accent color changelog manager extension manager, which are just required for this to work. I do want to just go over these scripts just in case there's something. And here was the no longer open source theme that had gotten everyone upset. Non-exclusive, non-transferable, and you agree not to do any of this. Now, of course, it is fair use for me to do so for the sake of assessing malware, and I do not agree to this, but in general, you're prohibited from doing so. And then there's more information about this, and this is all being deleted along with... Okay, the website is still up. And he's even proud of how many forks he's got. Oh, and we can even see the obfuscation in the build script, which is kind of funny, because that does make it relatively easier to reverse engineer knowing the obfuscator, although some of it is destructive, like the function names. While you can use a large language model to get a good guess of what the function might have been called, there is no way of fixing it permanently, or I mean, like to match the original. So it's generally looking like this was a false positive. Now that doesn't mean that it's wrong to be security checking these extensions. Now here is another Bleeping Computer article from a year ago, where in fact malicious extensions were able to steal authentication tokens, and there have been many cases of info stealers being distributed via code, either simply by stealing these extensions or by actively shipping malicious exes, much like what an Excel macro or any other way of executing. Now here is the article by Theo, which of course set this guy off, who claims this is all just a slanderous attack by one guy. No. He did a bunch of incredibly suspicious things, shipped a bogus, or edited the Git code to try and abolish an Apache license, which you absolutely cannot do. It is irrevocable. There is no way around that. And a bunch of other things, threatening to sue people. This guy is a nut job. In this case, it seems like he wasn't shipping malware. Personally, I would agree with Theo to the extent that I would not run anything developed by that guy, because God knows what comes next, especially given he's just, who knows, maybe there's even been inspiration. But in this case, it does seem like there was a false positive here from this scanning tool, which doesn't totally shock me, because... Let's just take a look at extension total. It reminds me of virus total. At least once every couple of days, someone will message me about something that has detections on virus total. And I shouldn't say most of the time it's a false positive, because it's equally common to see false negatives. But virus total doesn't, like, it's a tool, but it's not very accurate. And I imagine this is the same. Let's see if edit this cookies Oh no, that's Chrome. We gotta change this to Chrome. It's still around, see if that might get some hits. Also try some popular extensions, which gets a medium risk, but of course, if it's on their front page, they know. Now, I don't really use any extensions. I'm just trying to find something interesting to analyze, just to test this tool out. Let's try this one, Rust Test Lens. Looks to be moderately popular. This one has gotten some relatively low hits, but it looks fine. The medium risk seems a bit high, I guess unverified publisher, so let's try some more. They're trying to get us to log in, and this one also gets a medium. And here we finally get to see a high risk score, but, and this is a bit of a horse's less the stable door, the only reason this thing has a high score, wow, this site is annoying, I hate when websites do this, is because it's been removed from the marketplace, but you don't need to audit before. Okay, this thing seems a bit questionable. So, sensitive permissions, medium risk, unverified publisher, medium risk, but that's going to be virtually everything would have those. Brand new extension, individual publisher, clipboard. That feels like that should probably be more than a medium. Okay, well, let's try everyone's, the extension that everyone loves. uBlock Origin. Which is actually banned because it... Okay, so uBlock Origin gets a medium. So uBlock Origin and the malicious extension get the same score. And virtually everything here gets the same. Now, it seems highly obfuscated code is triggering it, but overall, I'm just going to say I don't think this extension total website is super reliable. So if the developer of that material design extension wants to be angry at someone, I would suggest being angry at these people, because they're basically trying to turn this into a marketing. They're trying to turn a false positive into a marketing campaign, which is just odd. There is nobody. I went through the whole GitHub. I've looked through. Nobody has found malware in this extension, other than this research, which kind of got rehypothecated. Look, it's fine. Everyone's made mistakes. I once got something wrong. Everyone will do it. And this developer doesn't seem like a great guy. But overall, this seems like a false positive with a potentially questionable security tool here. So that's going to be all for me for now. Let me know what you think. And I do think, much as this isn't a great implementation, the idea of auditing Visual Studio and other extensions is a good idea. It just needs to be implemented well. Bye!